Dolphin schedule is released. Do we have anything to worry about? We'll see now. Two versus Brother podcast.
Well, finally, with the schedule coming out, football season is getting closer to us. We're already 3 months away from the NFL football season. Now, talking about the schedule, I'll tell you this. I don't think the NFL did the Dolphins any favor. You have an early beginning with the Dolphins. Basically, they with an easy schedule. And analyzing the schedule, you go to Buffalo week 2. So let's start with that first. After Jacksonville, that matchup, it's fine. But then the Buffalo week 2, we play them early, at the Dolphin Stadium at night. But I'll tell you this: the humidity will be a factor. I know people will want the Dolphins and the Bills to play at 1 o'clock on Sunday, but in this scenario, at night early on, it will still affect Buffalo.
Definitely.
Also, what I liked about the schedule early on is the road trip, the West Coast. We go to West Coast right after we finish week 2 on Thursday. We go to the West Coast all the way to the following Sunday. So it's not something that the Dolphins will be tired. No, they'll get a nice relax and they'll go on to the West Coast. And then when they come back from the West Coast, they go and they face the Titans for that rematch on Monday night. So an extra day
Mm-hmm.
that the Dolphins will have coming for the road trip. People are crazy. Oh, they're killing them. It's not that bad. You go to the West Coast, you come back, you get extra days with that. And then continuing, you do get an early bye week, in which, to me, the bye week is a random thing. Dolphins last year had it more toward the middle. Another year they had it to week 13. It's come and goes. This year we have it to week 16. And then right after that, then, the schedule gets easy. You do play Buffalo. And I do like that matchup, Buffalo, early on in November 3rd. I think the worst thing that could happen to the Dolphins is half the Bills in December.
Yeah.
And last year they played them early on. This time they play them right on the first week of November, middle of the season. I have no complaints. And then obviously, then right after the Patriots game on November 24th, and which is by that time, then the schedule turned brutal for the Dolphins, and this is where the NFL kind of like in a way screwed us on that aspect, because the schedule do us no favor. You go to Green Bay on Lambeau Field on Thanksgiving night. I, you know, as a fan, would love to see the Dolphins on Thanksgiving Day. Gives us the prime time, but do not like the part of playing on right at the snow. It's gonna be cold, and then you play 2 games against the Jets. With the ending at the end of the year, you play at the Jets, and then you play at Houston, San Francisco. Between that, and then at Cleveland. So you get 3 cold games with Green Bay, Cleveland, the Jets. You have super hard with San Francisco, and then you play Houston on the road.
Yep.
So I don't think they did us any favor. The Dolphins need to have an early start to have it.
Yeah, Frank. I concur with you, unfortunately, on this one. The only thing that I kind of differ with you, yes, with the humidity. The humidity at Buffalo, the week 2 is going to be insane because I work out outside and I could step outside for a few minutes and already be drenched in sweat. So if it's anything like it is now, and going to be September 12th. Oh my God! Even at night is going to be a disaster for the Buffalo Bills. But you know what? At
In a
the end of
short
the
week, they have to travel to us.
day, mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we have to advantage. We have to win this game. I will say this. If the Dolphins, and I know the fans are complaining, because in a way we got screwed, and I understand. But you know what? You know who we have to blame for this? Ourselves. Because last year, if you look at it, our schedule was perfect for us. We wanted to not play in the cold. We played Buffalo early on. We play at New England week 2. And then we play the Jets by Black Friday.
Mhm.
So with our division matchups, we played them early on. And then we played Buffalo week 18. So we had the advantage. We had the end of the year. Most of it were home games. 3 out of 4 were home games. And we still didn't win. So we have no one but ourselves to blame for this. The
Yeah.
NFL, and put it like this, people, the NFL will not do us a favor. We don't deserve it.
Yeah, but you know what? I think this game right here is going to be a game that I think is very important because last year we should have won that game. Over there versus Tennessee here is going to be an intense game. It's going to be here Monday, September 30th. It's going to be on prime time again because we lost in prime time. And that game is going to be very important because now we got to go over, we have to come to the stadium and be ready to beat them, knowing that they're not a great team by no stretch of the imagination. They're better, but still, we need to beat them. If it wasn't for that Tennessee game, we would have had a home game as a playoff.
Yeah, we would have won the division because it was just that one game that kept us. I mean, I think the Dolphins will take care of business during that time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, So, Pedro, looking into the schedule, obviously, other than the division matchups, what other matchups or weeks concerns you?
Alfredo, the only weeks that concern me for real, to be honest, is going to be that Green Bay game. The Green Bay game and the San Francisco. Actually, no, there's going to be 3 of them. San Francisco is going to be here, Houston at Houston, and then the Green Bay, it might just be in the snow. Because San Francisco here is going to be hot. Houston, it's not that much of a difference from here. It's going to be a cold game at Green Bay, and I don't see the Dolphins winning that game. To be honest, it's I don't see it. But let's see
I
what
would say
happens.
this: if the Dolphins ever want to end this curse, this is the opportunity to do it. Prove the league wrong. Beat the Browns. Beat the Packers. Beat the Jets. We would have taken care of business. We would have had a much favorable schedule. Look at Kansas City. They get their favorite. Yes, they get a horrible start, but it's not how you start; it's how you finish.
Yeah, you're right about that one, Alfredo.
What would you say be the final record? Your prediction?
To be honest, I see this schedule. Best case scenario, we win 12 games. Worst case scenario, we win 10 games. Because I see a lot of winnable games in the very beginning, and that murderer's row at the end, starting with Green Bay, is going to be pretty daunting. But going into that week, I expect us to have already won at least 9 games.
Actually, the Cleveland game. The only thing that concerns me more about that game is just the snow. The team doesn't concern me. Deshaun Watson will be back. I mean, I don't unless he'll be back the Deshaun Watson of old. But he so far he hasn't scared me. He hasn't impressed me. So I mean, I that matchup. You know, I wouldn't be surprised that he even gets flexed out of Sunday Night Football.